Teachers are the foundation of our community's efforts to ensure that children grow into contributors to the world around them. Since its inception, Kenyon's district has placed a premium on great teaching. We value our teachers, and we honor our teachers. After all, teaching is a profession that teaches all other professions. For examples of those who spark the love of learning in Kenyon students, we don't have to look any further than the 7 semifinalists in this year's Teacher of the Year competition. Elena Stone, Jordan High School Teacher of the Year, like many of her colleagues, just always knew she wanted to be a teacher.
I always wanted to be a teacher. Even when I was a little girl, I would play school and I would pretend to write cursive and have class with like the little people things. So that was just what I always wanted to do. And I genuinely like teaching. I genuinely like teenagers, which people always find shocking.
Tiffany McDaniel of Sprucewood also knew she wanted to be a teacher from a young age.
Always wanted to be a teacher, and I went to school for teaching and just love the education program and love being around kids, and especially seeing the progress they make and being able to impact their lives and be able to influence them for good and help them succeed in life.
Alisa Taysum of Union Middle School recalled finding the moment when she knew special ed was her calling.
I first started out in elementary education, and I was teaching and walking down the hall, and I saw this group of students from the special education class, and I just had this great feeling that that's where I was supposed to be. And so I've been in special ed ever since, and I have a brother that has autism, and I just feel like I'm there to advocate for those students and teach them independent skills, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
Most of us have a teacher that we have never forgotten, someone who cared about us and made a difference in our lives. For Skyler Blumell of Mount Jordan and Daniel Wheeler of Oakdale Elementary, that teacher changed the trajectory of their lives.
My mother passed away when I was in high school on the day of my choir concert, and I found that the one place I wanted to be in the world was on stage. And so I got there, and he knew something was wrong, and I was just crying, and I told him, and he told me to go home, and I said no, because he didn't understand that school and choir was where I needed to be. It's where I felt loved and accepted, and that was my place. So he let me sit in the auditorium, and he gave me the solo at that concert, which was not a good choice. I know what he was trying to do, but it was a poor choice. So I did my best, but it was a great moment for me to realize the power of a teacher and relationships. So I knew at that moment, my junior year of high school, that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be that person. I wanted to create that space, and I wanted to provide a place for students to be, to want to be, to find their voice, literally and figuratively. And that's what I wanted to do. So I went to school, and I never changed my major once, and I became a teacher, and that's why I stay, because through all of the difficulties and through all of the meetings and policy changes and expectations and portfolios and observations, through all of it, it comes down to the students, and it comes down to what they need. And I just feel like I can be that person because I've been through some stuff, and so I know I feel like I know what can help them, and that's my goal.
I'm going to go back a little bit. I was a child of 7 years old to a father who found himself being a single father, raising a 7-year-old girl and a 12-year-old girl back in the 80s. And so I was the student in every single classroom that we have here in Canyons and probably throughout the world, where I went to school and I smelled like cigarette smoke, and my clothes never matched, and my hair was never done, and my homework was probably never turned in, and possibly we didn't go to parent-teacher conference that often. We were on survival mode. So from second grade until fifth grade, it was kind of a challenging time for me, and I just kind of fell behind a little bit. In fifth grade, I had the most amazing angel teacher Harold Grunick, who was also my principal and a teacher. Like, he split the time, and I found myself in the Lobby group of reading, and we were in a circle. I remember the direction I was pointing, what I was wearing, and I read out loud, and I looked over at him, and he just had these tears falling off his face. And he stood up, and he stopped everyone around us, and he said, "Danielle is a reader." And that was the first time in my life that I knew I was a reader and that I was a good student and I could do amazing things. So from that moment, I thought, I never want a child to have to wait until they're in 5th grade to know that they're a reader. So my passion and my goal is, as soon as the kids walk through my room, they know that they are an artist, they are a mathematician, they are a reader, they are an actor, whatever they want to be. And that is what I see as my role as a teacher, is that I don't want a student to ever walk out of my room and not know that I don't think that they have all the potential that they do, because they do. So Mr. Grunick changed the trajectory of my life. And what keeps me going is amazing experiences that I have with my kids every single day, their accomplishments, their progress, their standing a little bit taller, them reading out loud. I've got some really cool stories I could share about students who have overcome the most amazing odds this year, and that is why I keep coming back.
When we asked the finalists if they would recommend their profession to others, Nicole Shawn gave an enthusiastic answer.
I freaking love teaching. It is the best job you can imagine. You have an opportunity to come to work. I have 146 students right now. I have 146 opportunities to change someone's day. And I can't think of any other capacity where you can do that. There's no other forum where you have that much effect. And then you have 146 students that can affect your day. And so just these opportunities that we have as a teacher to give back is a serotonin boost. I mean, it's a dopamine rush. Like there isn't any other job like it. If you're thinking that you want to go into teaching, do it. And appreciate every moment you have with those kids. You'll think about them constantly. You'll wonder where they're going, and you'll want to be a little piece of that, and you get to be a little piece of that.
Elena Stone warns, though, that you need to know your why.
If their motivation for becoming a teacher is, I want my summers off, this is not the job for them. Because even me, an experienced battle-scarred veteran of 27 years, there's still time on Saturdays. There's still time during the summer when you're doing planning. So you really, really have to know why it is you're in the job. And if it's for a reason like that, you're not going to last. If you're there because you want to make connections with students, if you're there because you have a passion for your subject, whatever that is, if it's English, if it's science, whatever it is, then you will be more successful. But you definitely need to know what your why is.
Skyler knows the impact teaching has on students.
It's probably the most difficult thing that you can do, because every single day you have so many decisions to make and every opportunity to impact somebody's life. And you're going to teach hundreds of kids, thousands, and you're not going to remember all their names, but they're going to know yours. And it's such difficult work, but I don't know of any other work that's worth doing, because if we're not changing people, then what are we doing? Because people are all that matter.
Danielle Wheeler, who after working 20 years in the medical field, decided to go back to school to get a degree in teaching, shares why teaching is one of the best professions.
And I would say, it's not easy. It is hard and it is challenging, but the reward is so much more. And it's the coolest job. I've never once said, I don't want to go to school. And that happened all the time in the medical. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to have to deal with this. And sometimes I'm like, I don't want to get up in the morning, but I've never said I don't want to go to school and be with my students. So that tells me this profession is killer.
Katie Tinoco, Canyon's Teacher of the Year, would be honest with potential teachers.
Let them know that this job is going to be unlike anything else. It's going to be really difficult, really trying, but if you give your whole self and you put your heart into this position and profession, it will also be rewarding like no other career could ever be. To see the light come on for a kid, and to know that you played a part in that is magical. And not that you're solely responsible for it, but that you got to be just a little piece of a kid's life is meaningful in a way that I don't think any other job gets to experience.
Teachers teach because they care, once said Horace Mann, known as the father of American public education. Teaching young people is what they do best. It requires long hours, patience, and care. Indeed, countless hours of work and acts of patience and care have been carried out by Canyons District teachers in the years since COVID-19 upended life and learning. Few times before in the history of public education have there been more challenges to inspire higher levels of learning in schools. It's taken heroic measures to lead students through unexpected surges of COVID-19, turn to technology to reach students who could not come to school because of illness, and reteach social skills to those traumatized by the effects of the pandemic. While the previous 2 school years have been held out as the tough COVID-19 years, the academic aftershocks of COVID-19 are actually being felt in our schools right now. From the workforce shortage to economic pressures to the COVID slide of scholastic progress, it seems like a never-ending uphill battle. What keeps these teachers fighting the never-ending uphill battle? For Alisa Taysum, it's seeing the evidence of a love of learning growing in her students who often struggle.
I love students to find a love for learning, and so I have been reading Harry Potter with my students, and I've had parents coming in saying that this is the first time the students have actually found a love for reading, and they're wanting to go to the book fairs and to bookstores and buy books and read, and they're reading with their families, and they're bringing these piles of books into my classroom and reading and wanting free time to read, and that's so awesome to me because I just want them to love to learn, and especially when I work with the students that struggle to read the most, so that's really excellent.
Danielle shares one of her rewarding moments she recently had with her students.
Today, I took them on this process also, and it's not me, it's us as a team, and so they know that I'm here right now, and I was a little bit nervous, and so I pulled out my stool and I said, friends, I need a pep talk, and 20 little arms went up in the air right away, and they started saying things that I say to them every single day. Repeat after me. I am amazing. I worked hard. I can do this. And it was amazing. Every single one of them were repeating back what I had said to them and then even made it more beautiful. So as I'm sitting there holding back tears, I just thought that experience right there with them encouraging me, I know what I'm teaching them is sinking in. And I know when times get hard that they can hopefully come back and go, what did I learn in 3rd grade? And that's what I'm going to use to get past this.
Nicole Shawn sees many meaningful moments with her students.
Those meaningful moments, are when a student takes the time to write you a letter or come in and tell you, hey, you made a difference in my life. Sometimes those meaningful moments are when you see someone grow. So maybe their next test score was amazing and you know that they did that, maybe not because they loved the subject, but because they were trying for you. And they'll tell you, they give us so much more than we give them. When we say, hey, good job, all of a sudden you get back so much more than that. And you think, oh, I just gave them this little bit. I just gave them this little piece of information, and they've taken it and they thought, oh, wow, you believed in me. Or you get these little notes. And it's so amazing that a 15, 16, 17-year-old would take the time to tell you that. And sometimes it breaks your heart because you know what they're going through. To take that minute to appreciate, someone that did something for them, it just makes it's so much worthwhile to be here.
What does Katie Tinoco want for her students?
A strong community in my classroom. That's my first priority as an educator, is that I want my kids to know that my classroom is a safe place for them to be, that it's okay to make mistakes, that we're in this together, and that even when things are unpredictable and we don't know when our Chinese teacher is going to be back, that it's okay and we're going to learn and we're going to push through anyway, and we're going to do our best, whatever comes our way.
Why did she pick Canyons District to teach?
I would not be here without all of the amazing teachers that I rub shoulders with on a daily basis. They make me better. They make me who I am. I love this job, and I love my kids, and I love what Canyons District stands for. I love its values and mission and its goal of helping kids reach their ultimate potential of being college and career ready, and not just saying that, but meaning it.
It's been said that a teacher takes a hand, opens a mind, and touches a heart. The stories these teachers shared show that to be true. Simply put, Canyons District teachers are the most outstanding professionals that public education has to offer. Teachers, you do make a difference every single day. The saying, "to teach is to touch a life forever," is so true. Teachers touch lives for a brief period of time, but the impact is lasting. Every day, the worlds of Canyons District students are made bigger, bolder, and brighter because of the stellar work of our teachers. Thank you, teachers. You're amazing. You've been listening to Connect Canyons. I'm Stephanie Christensen. If you have a story idea, drop us a line.